The Asics Megablast aims to be the biggest, lightest, priciest running shoe on the market. But the real question is, how mega is it? First things first, I bought this shoe with my own money. I've got about 25-ish miles on it in a variety of training runs, both easy, interval, and long-ish. It's a deload week. And here are the specs, so we don't have to talk about them again. Hooray, whew. Now that we've got all that out of the way, what even is this shoe? Well, the Megablast is the top of the line for the Blast line of shoes from Asics. This range includes the Nova Blast, Sonic Blast, Super Blast, Megablast. So many, I've said blast so many times now. Blast. Ugh. Okay, and I'm kind of going off script here a little bit because I wrote a lot of dislikes about this shoe. I mean, me and this shoe do not get along all that great. And I don't know that it's necessarily the shoe's fault, right? It's a combination of everybody is affected by running shoes different. This just affects me on one end of the bell curve as opposed to the, whoa, it's the best thing ever side of the bell curve. And some of these things that I dislike are also not the shoe's fault. They're like Asics as an organization's fault. So keep all of that in mind as we go through this. I don't really like the shape of this shoe. I find it to be very narrow to an uncomfortable degree. I personally have a higher volume, wider foot, so not every shoe is gonna work for me. And normally when I do this, like I did with the Super Blast, I size up about half a size and it's fine. I originally purchased the 10.5, but it felt a little too long. It felt a little too just like unstable because there was a lot of heel slip. So then I bought a 10 and I tried that and it was just, it was uncomfortably too tight. So to try to balance it out, I stuck with the 10.5 and really had to crank these laces down to make this shoe work. And even then, it's just, this is not designed to fit a foot like mine, so I just don't like the shape. If you have a high volume foot, you may or may not like it. I don't. I also don't like the laces included with the Megablast. They look like the sawtooth laces that a lot of high-end running shoes have. But they feel, I don't know, it feels almost like slippery. I don't know, you're not gonna be able to understand what I'm talking about through the video. There's just something about these laces that they do not feel like they've got enough traction, and they're very thin. So as I crank these down, because the shoe's too big, it is kind of uncomfortable on the top of my foot while I'm running. On the positive side, to keep it happy, they are long enough to both heel lock and double knot at the same time. So that's, hey, we find the silver lining even in the darkest cloud. And not to continue the nitpicks, but I don't love the colorways from this initial batch. The pure white is a little too boring and the purple is just, it's a little too busy for me. I think if I were to use the colors they have already, I think I would really like the pure white upper with this foam midsole. I think that would look pretty good overall. It's a lot. The price is also pretty rough. $225 is expensive. Yes, these have a brand new high-end foam. They're super lightweight. They have all the tech of a high-end super trainer. And I think that's the problem, right? I personally don't really like the concept of the super trainer. I think we're reaching the logical limit where shoes that are supposed to be the one and done are getting more expensive than some 2-shoe rotations. So yes, other super trainers are also expensive. The Asics are not the only folks doing this. Things are getting more expensive overall, but woof, that's pretty rough. Okay, that was over 500 words of complaints. So let's talk about what I've liked, because it's not all doom and gloom. I say that as this next sentence is not gonna make sense till you let me finish it out. The performance of this shoe is weird. Not in a bad way weird, I think it is a good way weird. When I first put the shoe on, it is narrow, but it didn't feel as magical as the online discourse made it seem. Even during my first couple of runs, it felt a little firmer and not as springy as I expected. But I'll tell you what, this shoe does something crazy. It becomes more comfortable the longer you run in it. Now, I don't mean that it breaks in, because it doesn't, or at least it hasn't for me yet. This process sort of restarts every run, but each mile that goes by with this shoe on your foot, it feels a little softer. It feels a little more, I don't want to say bouncy, but propulsive, and it sort of just pushes you more the farther you run. My max run thus far in these was 9.5, so I haven't put in a 20 miler, but no matter the type of run I've done so far, it just feels better over time, which is crazy, because honestly, I do not like the Super Blast 2. I've got about 70 miles on these before I just gave up on them. Me and this shoe never gelled. They feel very stiff, they feel very blocky, but unlike the Super Blast, this does feel better. I mean, this feels way better for me compared to this. This, you can see how dirty it is. I've taken this a lot of places, and it, ugh. The next thing I've liked is how light the shoe is. Asics says it weighs 8.1 ounces for their base size. I mean, this feels so light. When you combine that lightness with the feeling over time, this makes me feel so good at the end of the run, you know, tightness aside. My legs haven't felt too tired or worn out. I think it's a really great combination of the two features, and it really makes me wish my foot was a little narrower to enjoy this more. It's hard to make a video about running shoes for other people because literally everybody is affected by running shoes differently. So the question would be, I would ask is, would I buy the Megablast again? No, I wouldn't. It's not the shoe's fault. Running in the Megablast is pretty good, but it just doesn't fit my foot shape, and for the price, $225, it shouldn't just feel pretty good. It should be incredible. At least for me, it hasn't reached that level of performance, but I would not buy a second pair if I ever get these to wear out. I mean, they look really good overall so far. But what about you? Do you have the Asics Megablast? Are you considering the Asics Megablast? Let us all know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.